You are now listening to the Re-Education Podcast. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. It's season 2. Everybody say yay.
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 What's the enthusiasm? I'm really my own cheerleader here, aren't I? Shall we try that one again? Welcome back, everybody. This is season 2 of the Re-Education Podcast. Can I get a yay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Woo.
Thank you. That was the passion that I was needing. Thank you, guys, for tuning back in to the Re-Education Podcast. Like I said, this is season 2, coming to you with a new flavor. I've got some real special guests. And like I said it, I'm not going to stop saying it. They are special because they are none other than I've got to get it right, otherwise I'll get cussed. Younger brothers and younger sister. If I say the L word, they'll actually have something to say to me, so I'm not going to say it. I'm going to let them go around. Start with you, Kai. Say who you are and what you do.
My name is Kai. I'm 20 years old and I'm a camera operator and I'm trying to start my own business and I'm also trying to go to uni in Birmingham.
Thank you.
Over, you can go. You go first. Hi guys, my name is Rhys. I'm an actor, director, producer, and writer. I'm 22 years old. Grew up in North London. I'm from Barbados and Nigeria. That's my heritage. And yeah, I'm excited to contribute towards this podcast and share my wisdom and knowledge.
Yeah, doing last door. Obviously, I'm Troy, I'm 26, and I'm a trainee gas engineer. So that's really it.
Hi, I'm Renee. I'm 21, a uni student. Yeah, just living my life right now.
You're not going to say where you are now? You're just
Well, I'm currently on a work placement as an English teacher in Spain.
That's my younger brothers and sister, yeah? Mine. Thank you guys for joining me. It's been a while since I actually extended the invitation. But you know, I got to come back with a bang for season 2, and what better way than to do that with my siblings, you know? Thank you for joining me. Today, guys, I've obviously spoken to you guys and said what I wanted to talk about today. But as Rhys mentioned, he's from Barbados and Nigeria. However, myself and my sister are from Jamaica and Nigeria. So I wanted us to come together today and kind of talk about what it's like, what it was like and what it is like really growing up Black British with quite a textured background of the Caribbean and Africa.
Yeah.
Not textured.
I thought that was a pretty way of, describing it, because it, there's layers to the stuff and it's quite thick. So who wants to start first?
I think we could go with the eldest, the youngest.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Compared to the youngs, So I want to hear you lot's perspective first.
Oh, so you mean me when you say the elder? Oh, so
You're the oldest.
You went straight first.
the same way you lot don't like me to say little, yeah. Come right out the gate and talk about the eldest like I'm the elder in the room. Babes, I'm only 32.
So each one of you are trying to find the first.
Okay, it's, to be honest, it's not about me, but I can say it's been interesting growing up as a Caribbean and African Black person. I can honestly say that the primary school experience and somewhat secondary school was very was an experience because, you know, there's always that playground argument and back and forth between the Africans and the Caribbeans, but it was never the Africans and the Caribbeans. It was always the Nigerians and the Jamaicans. It was always, 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 always. Now, being that I'm from both parts of that of the world, I can't get involved in that because
Honestly.
whatever I say, I'm cussing myself. Like it's not a fair fight because if I cuss the Jamaican side, then they're gonna get onto me. If I cuss the Nigerian side, they're definitely gonna get onto me. Plus, I'm a little British girl, so you know, it's not like I was born in either place and then came here and you know had the accent like some of our family, or you know, I had a very English upbringing. However, I was very much exposed to both parts of my parents' heritage, so the Jamaican side and the Nigerian side. So it was, yeah, I learned to be quite quiet and not really get into debates and arguments very quickly, because I just felt that I wasn't in the best place to say you need to get back on the boat, look at your 10-foot droplet like a waterfall, like, you know, those are the kind of cusses that were being sprayed and scattered in the playground, and I didn't want parts of that. I didn't want no parts of that. That 10-foot droplet like a waterfall, they made into like a song.
No, that's actually very mean.
Very
10-foot, wow.
Kids' playground is not a nice place to be, you know. And if you don't have some kind of like shade tree or banter going for you, then you're just gonna get nyam up like a nyamed picnic. Like it's just not.
It's a dog eat dog world, man.
It really is. So I just used to kind of
cut through. Used to just
not me, no, not today, not ever. Bye. That's in a nutshell.
Yeah.
So we can go with continuing from the.
Yeah, mine was similar to yours, Simone. Just like primary school, secondary school, same stuff. Caribbean versus Africans. I'm in the middle. So obviously there was when I was in school, there was quite a few mixed people. So there was a lot of Afro-Caribbeans. So we kind of made our own little clique. When these lot are going at it, we're just like, oh yeah, we're not involved in it. So, you know what I mean? But like, in regards to being exposed to the Caribbean and African side, I was more exposed to the Caribbean side, didn't I? Been Barbados like what, 3-4 times, ain't really been Nigeria. I was invited to go by one of your aunties.
One of our aunties.
One of our aunties, isn't it? I'm joking. One of our aunties, yeah. But I didn't take her up on the offer in it. So. But you know what could happen in the near future, you know? But yeah, that's really it, really. You know?
I mean, my experience was somewhat similar, but still a bit different in terms of like, so I went to 2 different primary schools. I went to one that was more heavily, you know, Caribbeans and Africans. It was more Black people based, in my opinion, innit? Whereas my second school was more diverse in terms of, you know, we had Asians, we had Orientals, you know, we had all sorts of different sorts of diverse people from all sorts of parts of the world. So growing up in my first school, I realized it was a lot of, you know, the Caribbeans versus the Africans a lot of the time. And yeah, the mains were Jamaica versus Nigeria, because when everyone thinks of the Caribbean or Africa, they straight away go for Nigeria, or they straight away go for Jamaica. Little do they know there's how many different countries. So yeah, I mean, when I went to my second school, it was a lot different in terms of there was just a lot more acceptance for, you know, diversity, because the school was so diverse with all the different races. Then when I went to secondary, again, that's when I was thrown straight back into the, you know, the Caribbeans versus the Africans, but then there was still a few Asians. And to be honest, the minority in my school, because we went Bishop Stopford School, the minority of the people in my school were actually the white people and the Asians and stuff like that. There was actually a lot of Black people.
Yeah.
So that's when it started to become more Ghana versus Nigeria. It wasn't. Now in society, it's more like, oh yeah, if you're Nigerian or Ghanaian, it's you're held because you're royalty. But then the minute you say, oh yeah, you're Congolese, like.
Yeah, you're right, you know.
So that's now. That's now. Whereas before, growing up, it was the whole, it was just Ghana versus Nigeria, Jamaica versus the whole of the Caribbean. It was Jamaica versus any other country. But after when I went to college, that again, it was more, when people are adults, they're more, relaxed when it comes to these sort of things. But the odd banter will be there, if you're African, they might, reference the rice or the way you cook your meat, like, cause for example, Africans tend to boil their meat and do all sorts of other stuff, whereas, Caribbeans, we just have we fry it, jerk it, all sorts of stuff. So, yeah, I mean, I had a lot of different experiences. So, this is why I always say I should go last when talking, because my experiences are all like all over. But I would say I was exposed more to the Caribbean side growing up. So, it shaped me as well even today. Like my love for music tends to be in the Caribbean side. So, soca, reggae, dancehall, bashment, all of that. That's what I love. Whereas a lot of my friends tend to like the Afrobeats. Like now when I go parties, when I hear Afrobeats, I drink. I go and I mingle. When I hear the Caribbean stuff, I'm on the dance floor. That's just the way it's sort of shaped me over the years, but I'm always going to be in touch and open with my other side as well. And I mean, growing up with friends as well that were on the opposite side of the spectrum, that were the Nigerians and the Ghanaians and stuff, that put me a bit more in touch with my African culture. And then I was able to learn a bit more and stuff. And then, with our family as well, meeting more of our family, that also exposed me to more of our culture and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I would say I had the right balance. The right balance. I guess I could have had more of an experience with my African side, but I would say I'm very in touch with my Caribbean right now. And yeah, that's me.
Is me. I'd say my experience being Afro-Caribbean, it was really tight whenever the Nigerian versus Jamaican fights would come up in secondary school, because I'd just be sat there I'm not going to say anything for anyone to come and be like, hold on, but aren't you Nigerian? You said this about Jamaica. So I would kind of hold myself just carefully in that bit. But I think in my secondary school, there was one other Nigerian and Jamaican boy, and we were both kind of fair skinned. So we would both, I'm going to him and he's coming to me, and we're just we're not involved. But there were a lot of my friends are African, and I feel like I have quite little Caribbean friends, but I'm still in touch with the Caribbean side because I grew up more kind of exposed to it. Whereas Simone, your experience was kind of different because you got kind of exposed to our Nigerian side more than I did. So there's also that kind of weird thing between us two, where your experience isn't exactly the same as my experience, quite similar. So I find that interesting between us, and my exposure to my Nigerian side is increasing as I'm getting older, because I'm aware of okay, I am Nigerian. No one's gonna sit me down and say you're from here, this place, the next place, or this about your culture. It's kind of I have to go out and find it for myself. Yeah. So it's just that, in a way, self-discovery, which is weird because it's a part of me. I'm Nigerian, but I need to discover it. So I feel that's where I'm at, kind of getting to know more and comfortable within my Nigerian heritage and self, because I remember people would ask me, oh, where are you from in Nigeria? And I'm just I'm Igbo, I know that. And then they're just oh, you don't know where you're from. And then automatically I feel judged. So I'm just you know what? It's time for me to get comfortable with it, so that if someone asks me, where are you from? I can say, yeah, I'm from here. And what, I know both parts of my heritage. So just kind of getting to know it more is where I'm at right now.
I'm not going to repeat everything you just said, but I've basically been through the same as him, and both of you, and you just repeated it 4 times.
It's going to get long.
But the only difference is I'm probably the most British in this room, because I've never been to Nigeria. I don't count going to Barbados when I'm free.
It's a holiday, innit? You've been there. Your foot has
I
been
don't
over
remember
there.
anything that happened on that holiday, so I don't count that. And I don't really like Afrobeats or bashment, or I kind of like dancehall and soca, but everything else. So
Yeah,
I'm
happy
probably
now.
just the most English in the
Yes.
But yeah, my experience has been pretty much the same as yours, but probably a lot more laid back than the rest of you lot.
You can tell who's the laid one back of us all, right? No, thank you guys for sharing. I mean, I feel that as we've grown up, we haven't really had the chance to have moments like this where we just sit down and talk and fully explore what it was like for us growing up. Like you three grew up in North London. We grew up in South Wheezy. Like we're from two different parts of London. We can't just get on the bus for like 10-15 minutes and be at each other's doorstep. Like there's a whole load of traveling that's involved. Plus, like me being the older one, me being the senior, I would take that
You
one.
prefer senior?
No, I don't.
How much is it, huh?
What?
The oldest one, me being the oldest one. Don't repeat that senior thing, please. I feel that it's, you know, it technically is my duty, and I don't. You probably do remember, but there were points where I made efforts for you guys to come down during like Easter and stay with me for like the weekend, make sure Renee came up, and you know, just at least be around each other, because before our culture, we are siblings and we all share like that one thing in common. And I feel that we need to, for me, I just wanted to make sure that we were at least all good together and we had a connection that, yes, that's my brother, that's my sister, you know, we are all together in this. It's my support system. Yeah, I love them. My niece, my nephew, you know. I just wanted to make sure that we as a unit got to engage with each other. So got to have those conversations, got to talk, got to see each other, spend some time, which is why I introduced like us going out for at least something to eat. It was supposed to be once a month, but you know, and sometimes we don't actually get there.
The ability is
But you know, it's by us being around each other that we actually get to learn a bit more about one another. And I'm conscious that I was fully submerged in both parts. Like when it comes to Renee, I was fully submerged in both the Jamaican and the Nigerian side. And when it comes to you three as well, I was very much submerged in the Nigerian side. And the thing is, like all of the majority of the Nigerian family is in North London, which is close to you. So I would have thought that you guys would have at least been a bit more around than I was. But obviously that didn't happen. But as the eldest, I feel it's my duty to make sure that there is some kind of inclusion and acknowledgement of where we come from. I've been to Nigeria many times. I've been to Jamaica many times. So for me, I know where we're from. I know people there. Like there's cousins that are my age and a little bit older that can recall me going there when I was 7 or 8, before Renee was even born. But whilst Troy, you was here, so it's like, well, okay, doesn't really make much sense. But yeah, we won't get into that. But what have you learnt, or what do you know now about where you're from? And that's both Caribbean side and African side.
Probably going to be the quickest. I don't know where I'm from in Nigeria. I only know that I'm Igbo, as Renee said. That's literally all I know, more or less. That sounds disrespectful, but I've never had time to look into it. So, would
you like to know a bit more?
Not right now, but yeah, sooner or later. That sounds disrespectful. I'm only 20. You lot, some of you lot don't even know. You lot older than me. I don't want to hear it.
Yikes.
Oh my God. I know that I wasn't included in that, you lot, because
Well, you know.
Everyone but you. But even then, I don't even know where in Barbados I'm from, purely because I don't look into it either. I think
What?
I do. Cool. Bro. That's not my main focus.
To him like,
Most British.
Yeah.
British.
I'm not expecting that one.
Renee, that's you now.
Okay, I know Jamaica. I know where I'm from. I know from St. Catherine and Clarendon because that's where grandma and granddad came from. I know that they came over to, well, not came, but they went over to the UK like very young, and that's where they met, and then that's how my mom and everyone's there. In terms of Nigeria, I know that we're from, I want to say Abia State.
Uh-huh.
There we go. Village-wise, not sure. Other like regional stuff, I'm not sure, but yeah, something to learn.
And how did you learn about the Nigerian side, that of the information that you know now?
Oh, I asked Dad. I could ask him some more stuff, but you know when you want to take it bit by bit. Yeah, that one. And I also know, I think, did grandma come over here and had uncle and aunties? But yeah, that's what I think. Well, that's what I think I know.
Yeah, some of them were born, some of our aunts and uncles were born in Nigeria, and others were born over here. I think when we look at our Jamaican side, we only had one uncle that was born in Jamaica, but everybody was born over here. And I think it's quite common to hear with aunts and with our grandparents that they may have had some children back home and then come here and had other children, and then slowly but surely the children from over there may have come over or may have been left there. I know our uncle, he chose to stay there because that was grandma's baby. Like, she took care of him while he was in Jamaica. So but yeah, in this case, on the Nigerian side, yeah, some were born there, some were born here, but not so much with our Jamaican side. What about you, Troy and Rhys?
So
First.
is it me first?
No, who's going first?
I'll go first. So basically, our mum is Bayesian from Barbados, and her
She was born here though.
Yeah, our mum was born here. However, our grandma and granddad, they are from St. John and St. George. Our granddad being from St. George and our grandma from St. John. Sorry, other way around actually. Yeah, other way around. But in terms of yeah, so in Barbados we're from St. John and St. George, and one of our grandma's brothers is actually one of the members of Parliament in Barbados as well. I think our grandma's got about 7 or 8 siblings.
Yeah, she's got 8 siblings.
8 siblings in Barbados. Well, and some of them actually flew out to Canada as well. Some as well in the UK as well. So there's a lot of our family, of our Bayesian Caribbean side scattered around the world in different places, I guess. On our Nigerian side, again, all I know is that we're Igbo. Someone has asked me before, like, oh, like what tribe and stuff, and I wasn't able to tell them, but then they did ask me specifically, like they gave me a list of tribes, but I wasn't able to identify where we're from, I guess. But yeah, that's me, I guess, and try to say
pretty much the same, really. Pretty much the same, like, yeah.
Renee said something about Abia State or something like that.
It's mad. I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah, a family member told me, but it just went in one there. Yeah, like, you know what I mean.
But I've been to Barbados, I think twice.
Yeah, he's been twice.
I think twice, but again, my memories were as a kid, so I don't have any recent memories. I mean, I always tell anybody if I had to go on holiday into the Caribbean somewhere, it would be Barbados. So often when people call us small island, I believe we're actually better than Jamaica, but we're not going to get into that
So,
Whoa.
That's another one.
Whoa. Whoa.
now we're Jamaican on this side of the screen. You know what that means? Yeah.
I mean, we've been to Barbados. It is a small island.
Yeah, from Barbados, but we've been there.
It's a small one.
My friend was telling me to go G weekend in JA, so I have to hit that.
Oh, okay. Oh gosh, it's funny hearing. It's funny just hearing you guys talk about how much knowledge you have on like the Caribbean side. Well, you know, Kai will stick a pin because for now, Kai's very much standing firm in, yeah, I'm British and I don't really know this stuff. I don't really know that stuff. And eventually, it's funny how we all know like so much about the Caribbean side, but not so much about the African side. But when you look at things like Black History Month, it's very much solely about slavery. And we were taken from the motherland and scattered in the Americas. What did you learn in school for Black History Month? And did it link to maybe you thinking, well, where do I come from? What impact does that have on my heritage?
I mean, the standard typical curriculum in most schools anyway, for us lot growing up, I believe was, you know, slavery, Rosa Parks,
Mary Seacole,
Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King. It was literally just the typical stuff, but they didn't ever teach us about,
you had to do your own research on that, basically.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I think, you know,
do you know what they do? They just slap on roots. That's what they'll do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Make you right.
That's it.
Right. Literally. And I think, I mean, because of such a lack of initiative from their side, I think that's what made me go, you know, where exactly am I from? Like, let me do a bit more research into my stuff. And yeah, I think that's my perspective on it. But I've had this conversation enough times with loads of people about like what should they be teaching in the curriculum for Black history and stuff. And a lot of the time, the teachers will say that they're either underfunded or that whole department is usually led by someone who doesn't know much about Black history anyway. So it's usually, I think it's just a lack of interest and lack of initiative for most educational backgrounds. But yeah.
I agree. In year 7, I remember in history, we watched Roots and then we made our own slave diary. So, yeah.
You made your own slave diary.
What's a slave diary? What is that?
So we had to act as if we were a slave and write about it. Like.
Oh my God.